do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da-day.
Hello, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. This is Last Man Standing. Please excuse me. I am somewhat slightly lit, if not totally illuminated. So put up with it. Seriously, this is my retirement relaxation. Deal with it. With me tonight, we've got Joe Bachman, and we've got Thesis in the chat who's saying good evening, and we may have him live later on. I do not know, but events will eventuate eventually.
So going back to what we were talking about in Stupid O'Clock with power steering, here's an interesting one for you. Back when I was in driver's ed, they had one of their vehicles. It was a Pontiac Grand Am or Grand Prix. It was a Pontiac. It was one of the two Grands. I can't remember which one.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, as long as you were in motion, steering worked perfectly fine. But if you were at a dead stop, like you could be idling forward. As long as the wheels were turning, steering wheel moved like there was no problem. If you were at a dead stop, it acted like the power steering wasn't even there.
Yep. That was more than likely the Grand Am. My mom had
so this
one.
was a known issue.
My mom had one of those. We called it the Batmobile. It had a teeny tiny engine, but it would go like a bat out of hell, which was perfect for mom because that's the way she drove. Railroad trains learned to get out of her way. Um, I mean, seriously.
Well, they had taken
Crossbars
this.
came down. She go, wait a minute, I can zigzag through that. I can see down the rail line. They're only about 500 yards away, and I'm going, Mom, that's several thousand tons worth of railroad. You do not want to be in front of it. She goes, watch this. Then just basically plowed through, and she still drives like that to this day. I'm sorry. She's got a bigger car now. It's a Yukon. It's almost as big as a railway train.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
they had
she,
taken this thing in to several shops to try and figure out what was causing that issue. Even replaced the power steering pump, the lines, like anything to do with the steering, they replaced on that vehicle. And if you were at a dead stop, you had to be He-Man
Mhm.
to get that wheel to turn. And the one drive instructor, he goes, how strong are you? I'm fairly strong. He goes, okay. We're on some little side street, not a busy street at all. He goes, why don't you try and parallel park right here? I'm like, okay. So I do the little pull up and I put it in reverse and I go to turn the wheel and I go, what the? He goes, yeah, this is a test of your strength here. Go ahead and try and turn that wheel. He goes, by the time we're done today, you're going to be able to do a parallel park without ever actually stopping.
Yeah.
Or he goes, other than the initial pull up, up next to the vehicle to stop and put it in reverse, he goes, you're going to be able to do this in one fluid motion. My God, if he wasn't right. Oh.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's it. The reason nobody was ever able to fix it is because it wasn't a design flaw. It wasn't a malfunction. It was the way the car was designed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
just none of the shops in Valpo had ever actually seen it.
yeah. Oh, and Thesis is with us now. So,
Good
yeah.
evening, sir.
Hiya. Great show tonight. I actually um learned a lot
Mm-hmm.
as
Nice.
well as enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Bruce was one of those people that was kind of enigmatic,
Mm-hmm.
endless before the internet, and you were able to do research. You just didn't know much.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, that movie with James Garner was an adaptation of what was it? A Philip Marlowe story, which
Mm.
was written by oh fuck, I can't remember the name of the writer, but it was one of those things that was supposed to be 1940s, but when they got around to
Mm.
filming it, they made it late 70s.
Okay.
And I was always really sad that Bruce was one of the bad guys. So
Yeah.
he had to lose to somebody that basically knew better geometry than he did.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, if they had actually had a one-on-one combat, we wouldn't have had James Garner for very much longer. He'd have
Mm-hmm.
been stuck in the hospital for several years,
Mm-hmm.
and Bruce would have bandages on his knuckles, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Man was lightning fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, lightning fast. You had to use slow motion to be able to see what he could do in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is due to, I assume, I hope correctly, a lifetime of practice.
Pretty much.
He had a very, very good teacher, and he learned to never stop practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can understand why Green Hornet, when it was shown in Hong Kong, was called the Kiddo Show with Van Williams,
Yep.
because basically he did all the work,
Pretty
and
much.
the white guy just rode around to the back and goes, "Hey, anytime I get ready to use this tranquilizer gun, you just let me know when it's my time to get out and do that." Of
Mm-hmm.
course, there were standard American fist fights
Yeah.
that Van Williams was allowed to shine in, but it was basically 1930s, 1940s gangster film
Mm-hmm.
choreography. When it came to Bruce, they didn't know how to film that.
Nope.
I mean, seriously, he was just like, well, I'll put it in slow motion for y'all, but this is what I do. Deal with it.
Hmm.
Um, the crossover episodes with the very, very camp comedy episodes of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were two. It was a
Mm-hmm.
standard twofer for the Batman 66 series. Burt Ward was terrified of,
Mm-hmm.
of actually having even a choreographed bout with Bruce, and uh, Bruce did not make that terror any less by going, "Oh, I'm gonna pretend I'm really pissed off about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm supposed to lose to this child
Mm-hmm.
in green boots and tights.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-uh. That's just no." But it worked because Bruce was the ultimate performer on camera. He did take direction. He did go, okay, I'll rent it in for this, but you got to let me, when the real bad guys show up, you got to let me cut loose. So he did. Um, that showed off in so many of his movies,
Oh yeah.
and I've seen some that nowadays I don't think you can actually download them anymore because they are um they're considered softcore porn with martial arts added in. And I'm going, you're doing the man a disservice, really.
Mhm.
But I see where the studios had the right to do these things, even when they were okay. We can't show Bruce beating up people all the time. We've got to show titties. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the Americans will never buy this film. And I'm going, well, um, Chinese girls are exactly as equally endowed as any other women on the planet.
Mhm.
Okay, we get the point. It's a Bruce Lee movie. We're wanting to see throwdowns, not concubines. Okay? Yeah, Foxy, you're right. Titties are good.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
believe me, I totally agree. Um, they're one of the main reasons I'm still alive. Because they are worth appreciating in every way, shape, and form they are presented, whether respectfully or disrespectfully. But still, no matter where you go, there they are.
Yeah.
To modify a Buckaroo Banzai quote, um, you can tell I've been drinking a whole damn day. Uh, I don't care. Um,
Oh, excuse me.
mm,
Uh,
it would help
probably
if I
should shut
actually had
this
some
machine
food.
down.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh well, that'll be later. Um,
There we go.
should have been earlier, but I was in no mood to cook, and my wife wasn't either. It's been a very unfortunate anniversary
Mm.
of one of our adopted daughters passing away.
Mhm.
So it's been a very emotional end of the week. And it's all right. It's all right. It's not one of those things we want to really draw attention to.
Mhm.
Family knows that's
Mm-hmm.
good enough. Family knows. But other than that, bugger it. Millennium Hen and Shrimp. Oh, wait. Tear Fresher shows up at the exactly wrong time. Um,
Yeah, we went easy tonight with dinner. We did a manwich.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I do believe that when I do eat tonight, it's going to be something really, really simple
Mm.
that I can just go to the fridge and go, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this. Don't need the stove. Hooray! Um, might microwave something for a few seconds.
Yeah, tomorrow night we picked up some pre-made chicken cordon bleu from Myers
Ooh.
Oh, that sounds good.
that they have in their uh, meat deli, their meat counter.
Nice.
We've had those before. They are good. They also, the one thing I love getting from their meat counter, it's a chicken cream cheese jalapeno roll up.
That sounds fantastic.
They basically take a chicken breast and kind of like fillet it out thin, add a cream cheese jalapeno spread into it, roll it back up, and add a little it's not really a Cajun seasoning, but it's got a little bit of heat to it. I don't know what exactly it is, what the seasoning is they put on top, but you throw those in the oven for like 25 minutes, and oh, they're
Yeah,
good.
Right?
sounds like it. One thing I can recommend, um, there's a guy that I have been watching that is basically a master chef, but he has been a ranch hand and cook for not only hunting expeditions but cattle drives. He has a chuck wagon.
Nice.
It is an Oldsmobile from
Even better.
way back. I mean, this
Those
is
older Oldsmobiles you can fit a full kitchen inside of, kitchen sink
well, I
included.
know this one has no metal; it's all wood. It's one of those 1800 before internal or infernal combustion engines were invented. It's a horse drawn.
Oh,
Yeah, it is an authentic cowboy chuck wagon.
nice.
And he cooks with that. There's a full tent set up. He has a 5 billion ton cast iron stove that somebody has turned around for him. It ain't him because he's older than I am. Um, and he will cook stuff on a campfire
Hmm.
in a Dutch oven, which means there are coals spread around the oven. There are coals scattered on top of the lid
Hmm.
of the Dutch oven. Or he will cook on a cast iron stove, which I just described as being something Godzilla would not want to pick up
Hmm.
because it would be stressful. Um, and I, having grown up in a family that had cast iron stoves, the size of a fucking Volkswagen microbus in the kitchen,
Hmm.
going, yes, I can cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner with this, including a cake, by a little old lady that should not have been able to lift a spatula, much less a cast iron frying pan.
Hmm.
Just amazing skills that I was lucky enough to have been given a glimpse of these pre-depression uh, World War II rationing era cooking methods, and even beforehand when electricity had not been invented yet. and all you had was the stove. And then in the 30s, you got the outdoor wringer washing machines where you could do your laundry. And instead of washing it in a tub and using a washboard to scrub stuff out, I was very lucky to be born on the cusp of, I would say, quite possibly 3 generations of technological revolution, going between purely wood and coal burning to natural gas to actual electricity was available. Some of my relatives in East Tennessee, the wiring in their house was basically drop cords stapled to the wall, leading to a light bulb in the middle of the room, but there was an antique upright piano in the corner that would not have looked out of place in a church. And somebody in the family could sit down and play that as if they were a member of the London Symphony Orchestra. They had practiced that much because they had nothing else to do except cook and clean and grow up. Oh,
Good
and
evening, Nick.
yes, good evening, Nick. I'm glad to see you. We're going okay. I should stop talking soon because I am more than slightly sloshed. And you can tell me by the pronunciation of the last word that I have had a minor cold for several days, and I did not want to go out, even though it was a nice temperature, into the wind today and get sicker. So I just called a sick day and went, no, antiseptics, antibiotics, antidepressants, all of which mean copious amounts of alcohol, and over-the-counter pain pills, not the prescribed shit, which would get me hooked on things. No, not going for prescribed. I've seen what that does to folks, including family members of mine. I'm going, no, not for me. I have lived through the 70s. Not going to take stuff that would take me back there. Thank you very much. I already own lots of Grateful Dead albums. I've had the experience, didn't enjoy it, not going to repeat it in the modern day. Don't try and give me prescription crap. I will self-medicate.
Well,
And actually,
Like-
believe it or not, I'm feeling no pain. Well, just little bitty bit, but it's just, one nerve. My last nerve, so don't get on it. Um, yeah, that was a Joe Dog joke, but I only steal from the best.
Then why aren't you stealing from Kiri?
Because I heard them 30 years before he was born.
Oh,
Seniority is a thing.
this is true. Now, one of the things I've liked making lately, because I'll cook a few meals during the week that are like just one night meals, and then the training from my grandmother kicks in where you only know how to cook for a small army. And I'll make basically what I call a 3-day meal for the two of us. But I'll take some of the frozen, pre-cooked cube chicken, throw that into a pan with some taco seasoning, boil up a thing of pasta, and then Myers has a salsa style diced tomato.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like your diced tomatoes with the green chilies or even like a chili ready tomato. It's basically salsa in a can, just a little thicker. And I'll take 2 cans of that, dump that in with the chicken, let it all kind of cook together as the pasta cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Drain the pasta, add that in on top, throw a bag of cheese in with it, get it nice and melted and cheesy, and works out great. Makes a meal for about 3 days for the two of us.
Sounds delightful, actually.
Yeah.
It really
And then
does.
the other thing I like to do with those same can of tomatoes, I call it a dirty Mexican rice or dirty Spanish rice because it's definitely not the way you're supposed to make it. I cook up some white rice, add 2 cans of that salsa style diced tomatoes in it, mix it together.
Yeah.
It's essentially Mexican rice.
It would
little more of a zing, but
it would go well with a lot of different things that you can add to it spontaneously.
Yeah, I did it with tacos this week. Made some chicken tacos, and you could either have that as a side or do what I did because we get the bigger tortilla shells.
Mm-hmm.
Slap that in there first, and then put the chicken on top of that, and a little cheese and sour cream, and there you go.
We have learned to start buying the square bottom pre-made taco shells.
Okay.
Because they can be easily filled.
Yes.
And even after the fact, they can be easily warmed up in a microwave. You don't have to use an oven. You can. It might wind up being marginally better, but as long as the filling is one of those things that you can just throw in there and then garnish as necessary, it's fabulous.
I normally don't get the hard shell. My mom loved hard shell, so did my grandmother. and I don't mind hard shell. It's just like you said, the square one. When growing up, I didn't have the square ones. They only had the normal taco
Mhm.
shells. The square ones are relatively new in terms of
Yes,
shells.
yes. They've
Um,
only been around for about, as far as I can remember,
I was gonna say at least a
5 years or
decade,
so.
5 years. I
Well,
figure
that's
closer
as
to a
far as I
decade.
can remember. Um,
But yeah, they love the hard shells, and it's like I don't know if my grip is just wrong. Yeah, take that as you will. Um, but eating a hard shell taco, I felt like I lost more. I was eating more just bland shell than I was anything else because all the crap would fall out because the bottom would break or it'd just plop out the back end.
I have heard a theory that corrects that problem. You put a tortilla, a soft tortilla, underneath
Mm-hmm.
your plate and eat the taco, and whatever falls out, you make another taco that's soft shell from that.
See, now what my
And
neighbor used to do, he'd uh he would wrap his hard shell in a soft shell. Or if we were at a Mexican restaurant, because a lot of the Mexican restaurants, yeah, soft shells self refill, yes. Um, if we were at a Mexican restaurant and they offered flour and corn tortillas, a lot of those places would, when you got the tacos, it was a double tortilla,
mm,
and he would ask for one corn and one flour, and ask them to put the corn on the inside,
yes,
and
because that's crunchier, basically.
it
Uh,
helped hold everything very well together.
yes, and I do believe some of the restaurants have adopted that,
Mm.
but they've got fancy names for it. And I'm going, it's basically don't make a mess, drop on this, and then eat the leftovers from this particular bit. Um, I'm about to have to start a cooking channel when the outdoor kitchen is available and finished. It's not anywhere near finished yet, but I want to go out there and build a fire. Damn it. Um, little bitty cast iron stove. I've got to finish assembling the stovepipes and put it up and mount it so that the wind cannot destroy anything, but it's also not going to set anything on fire. Um, it's a little bit more complicated than a barbecue grill, but not much. And I am very intimately acquainted with cooking on a cast iron stove. Not one this size, because the one I've got is tiny. The one that my great aunt had was, well, let's say you could properly park a Volkswagen comfortably inside her cast iron stove. It would not stay drivable for very long, but you know, The size comparison is about accurate. It took up almost the entirety of one room of her house, but she could, using coal and firewood, do an entire Thanksgiving feast of a meal with that one cast iron stove, including a cake. Woman was talented,
Mm.
but she was a teenager during the Great Depression. So in Eastern Tennessee, she learned these skills. Fortunately, I paid attention. I have not learned everything I could have learned from her while she was still with us, but I get the feeling that once I get out there and start cooking on little Bertha, she's going to pop up in the back of my mind and go, just a little bit more garlic. No, no, no. Stop, child. That's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When your ancestors tell you you got it seasoned correctly, you go, I
Well,
hope
that's
it's
the proper way to
right.
do it with garlic. Is you season it until you hear your ancestors say that's enough, child.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. Or any other spice. Um, oregano. Um, I
Yep.
didn't know our last name ended in O. That's probably enough. Um,
Now there's one I need to find. I would love to know where the hell my mother hid this damn recipe book before she went into the hospital. But it not only had some of her recipes, it had some of my grandmother's recipes.
oh my God. Family
And
cookbook.
yes, because I need to find my grandmother's dough recipe.
For
She
which kind of bread?
for pies.
Oh,
Pie crust, yeah.
the pie crust is not, believe me, I would not attempt it myself.
I've
Lindsay has gotten quite good at it.
I've made her pie dough before, and I do it the exact same way I saw her doing it growing up. Because if there was one thing I've learned is you do not deviate in any way, shape, or form from
Mm,
grandmother's recipe.
Mm-hmm.
You use a metal mixing bowl. You put your flour and your Crisco into that mixing bowl and take two butter knives and cut it in.
hmm
It takes bloody forever.
It does,
But
but
you
it's
get
well
such a
worth it.
flaky crust on it. And doing I still remember when you do an apple pie or anything that has the top layer of crust.
hmm
You pour a little bit of milk into the palm of your hand, you pat the top of that crust with it, and you sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top.
And then you put it in the oven and go, if I don't have this set right, I'm going to scream.
Oh no, if I don't have this set right, I know I'm going to get a visit tonight. Now, the one thing I am afraid of trying to make is my mother's dough recipe for pizza.
Oh.
And it's a very simple recipe. I don't remember the exact measurement of flour. I know it was 7 tablespoons of Wesson oil. that went in with it. And
Yeah.
then of course your yeast, and you mix up your yeast in a cup, all that fun shit. But I don't remember how much flour offhand. But anybody, when my dad tried to make her pizza, my uncle tried to make her pizza, we all ended up sick.
They
If it
didn't follow.
didn't follow something in her directions,
Yeah,
and
really. There
you
was
know,
something unwritten that nobody knew to do.
and I think part of it was they just didn't follow the directions correctly. The
Mm,
other part was they used some of the cheapest ingredients you could possibly get your hands on.
no, you
Um,
don't. You don't cheap out if you're trying
yeah,
to do something good.
there's. I know if I ever do try to make it, I'm going to go out and find. I don't care if I have to order the shit online. I'm gonna find the same pizza sauce that she used. I know I have to go to either Strax or Town and Country and get the deli uh, pepperoni sliced thin, the
Hmm.
sandwich pepperoni. Um, I know the toppings, and the other thing I loved about her pizza was all the toppings were under the cheese.
Uh-huh.
So your onion still had a nice crunch to it. Your green pepper still had a nice kind of
Yes.
crunch to it. You know, and she would actually towards the end, she started mixing some garlic and oregano into the crust also, into the dough.
Ooh, yeah.
And
She
she would,
decided there needed to be something a little extra.
yeah, and she would, she'd get it. And I still have her pizza pans too. The pizza pans are older than I am. She got them as a wedding present.
Whoa, yes.
Um,
Those need to be
mhm,
passed down.
yeah,
Wait a minute. In order to pass those down,
I'd have to
you
have
and
children.
you and Trey have to have children.
They'll get
Um,
past the one of the nieces, but
well, I started to go, that's going to be a negotiation I don't want to be part of. But
but no, she'd get her dough spread out in the pan, pop it in the oven at 500 for about 5 minutes just to pre-bake that crust a little bit,
yeah,
pull it back
exactly.
out, add the sauce, all the toppings, the cheese, and this is one of those that I hope you like cheese, because
Yeah,
you cut it, and if you let it sit for too long before actually serving it, you're going to have to cut it again because the cheese is just going to remeld together.
resell or
Yeah.
reseal, basically. Yeah.
Um.
Um,
But yeah, that is I want to try and find her recipe. I even have her. I still have the KitchenAid with the dough hook in it.
now,
So
two people online I would recommend is a lady that has a channel called Hillbilly Kitchen. Let me speak precisely here instead of slurring. And Cowboy Kent. Between those two, you will be able to cook anything in a modern kitchen in traditional Appalachian manner or anything that you can cook over a campfire in a cast iron Dutch oven with lit coals all around and stacked on the lid, including pies, biscuits, all kind of stuff. But seriously, what? Okay, you pop something up here. Let me see what that
So
is.
Talker sent me down a rabbit hole. He sent me this video of a guy he 3D printed dice. I'm trying to find the STL and I came across this. It's a dice jail
Mm-hmm.
for when your dice aren't rolling properly for you, including a little dunce cap to put on top of it.
Okay. Yeah, I can pretty much see that's
But
that
the
could be a thing, but
no, the video he sent me, it's kind of it's a flat print. And then you pop all the pieces off and the dice all connect together. It's kind of like a snap and play, if you will, if that makes any
yeah.
sense. And someone said they downloaded that from Maker's World. And I'd love to know what the hell they typed in because I have yet to find the damn thing.
Yeah.
And after three attempts of searching, I just finally went dice. Yeah, that was a mistake. I'm getting every form of dice they have on here. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. Looking at a bunch of different things going, ooh, this would be fun to print.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Go away. Google. Did I do right? Yeah. Apparently. Let's see, is that going to be a decent link? Or is it going to be... Oh, good God, I don't want to save it. I've already got it bookmarked. Okay, copy link address. This is Becky Walter, the woman from East Tennessee that does the Hillbilly Kitchen. And I just realized I saved it on the wrong computer. So I'm going to have to go just the one channel and go rack-a-boom. And if that works, that's great. At least it didn't repeat 17 times if it didn't work. And Cowboy Kent should be relatively easy to find. Really just trying not to get a porn site by accident.
I found it.
You found what?
The dice set that Tucker
Oh,
has sent me the
good,
video
good.
of. They also have, and this is kind of cute. This would be fun to print. It's a chess set. Kind of like a flat print, like if you want something to take with you.
Yeah.
Um, I might have to try and print that.
All right. All right. I'm going to go with this one and copy the link and pop back over here and post the link. Evidently, he has been a cattle ranch cook and a hunter's guide cook
Mhm.
for over 25 years.
Oh.
So Kent knows what he's dealing with, as well as Miss Becky. She knows exactly what Appalachian cooking is,
Mhm.
and both of them are fascinating and will teach you a lot, even if you're not particularly cooking inclined. Oh yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, um, uh, Kent Rollins is amazing. Yes, he is. I have all three of his cookbooks, and I'm waiting anxiously for the fourth one to come out. He usually takes 2 to 3 years, but he's already covered a lot of stuff with the first three. So it might take him and his wife Shannon an extra amount of time before they come out with a fourth cookbook, and they have incredible salsa and pickled um, hatch chili peppers in green and red or mixed, and a lot of other things that they sell from their website. And I just keep going, I need 2 of those, I need 6 of those, and 17 of those, but we'll just order one right now. And there are spice mixes as well as actual sauces and salsas, if I made the differentiation in the pronunciation correctly. Um, and Miss Becky, oh, that was very Appalachian. Ms. Becky.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, seriously, you only give that title to somebody you highly respect. Um, yeah, uh, between the two of those is a plethora of not only southern but south central, southwestern cooking as well. Um, if you ever have an itch to go, I wonder what cornbread tastes like in North Carolina, go to Miss Becky. If you want to find out what an entire roasted deer tastes like in Oklahoma, cowboy against your man. Um, and it's not going to be one of those We put it in a slow cooker and let it go for hours. Well, I had to stay up and tend the fire for about 18 hours, but uh, Shannon had coffee ready for me at strategic moments. Seriously, those are two of the greatest books that I know of. Bless you, Joe.
Oh,
Bless you.
I needed that. Oh, I think I just gained about 2 inches of height back.
Hey, if
It's all
if your
about half my
spine
spine realigned.
if your spine just pop back into place, that's good. I try and do that every morning when I wake up. Sometimes I'm 5'11", and sometimes I'm 5'9". It just depends on whether or not I stretch successfully when I wake up. Um, and
Nick, what card are you talking about? If you're
Nick,
talking about the kit card, and it basically says you're not allowed to resell it or anything. Oh, shut up. Share some license. Yeah.
yeah. Although when I was a child in East Tennessee, it wouldn't be hours of smoking some kind of meat for Thanksgiving dinner. It would be 6 to 8 months in the smokehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be constant attention to make sure that smoke, and usually it was hickory or apple or cherry or some mix of the three.
Mm-hmm.
Because mesquite was one of those mysterious things you only heard of in Roy Rogers movies back in the day. It was not something you could get. Uh,
My uncle used to cook his Thanksgiving turkeys over an open pit and would stand out there, get out there at 3 in the morning, and hand crank the thing all day and
yeah,
based it in a red wine sauce.
I can probably reproduce that sauce because I know fairly well what red wine goes with fowl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I usually use the same thing for beef, but I have an entirely different white wine that I use for chicken. And I so seldom cook fish that I've never had to figure out what the hell works. It's just basically we'll buy what's in the grocery store and put it in the oven, and that's it. I don't do anything fancy with fish. I'm I've caught my share. I've eaten more than my share, but
That's fine. You're just eating my share. I'm one of those. I don't dislike fish, but I have to be in the mood for fish, or my body has to be going, "Hey, there's something in that fish that I want."
yes, I'm suffering a mercury deficiency. Give me that tuna.
Mm.
Um,
Well, now sushi is a whole nother story. I'll
That's
go out
what-
and eat sushi a couple times a week if the bank account allows for it.
That's basically rice with additives. Um,
Oh no, the place we go to, they put a good chunk of fish in there.
I did
But
know a fellow. Sadly, he has passed away by now. He goes, you know, I'd go to them one of those sushi restaurants, but I don't know why I'd pay top dollar to eat the bait that I used to catch a real fish with. I'm going,
well,
dude, that's not cultural appropriation. That's cultural put downs right there. You shouldn't say that. And he's going, what are they gonna do? Sue me? I'm 80.
my buddy
Deal with it.
Tony made the mistake a couple years back of going on kind of a sushi bender.
Oh.
He had sushi pretty much every day for lunch and dinner for about 6 days straight. And when I say his skin was gray in color,
Mercury
I
poisoning.
mean he could have passed as an alien in some of the older movies. He was about a day away from me just finally going, okay, dude, get in my car. I'm dragging your ass to the hospital.
Mercury poisoning. Yeah.
Yep. We were taking him soups. We were taking him
Eat
You know,
Actual
something,
food.
asshole.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I
and
heard a beep here somewhere. Oh, that's what that was.
yeah, that's the little like fold up chest kit.
Huh.
Little flat print chest kit that they have. And then
That's
on the bottom
neat.
of the board, it'll flat pack the pieces for you.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I know a couple of libraries would love to have that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Of course, some of the patrons of the library would lose everything immediately.
Yeah.
Or steal it.
And this
No,
is
they wouldn't steal it because it doesn't have any resale value at a pawn shop.
Mm.
It would be mostly I'm too bored to put stuff away. Which would be
Yeah.
the really horrible worst case scenario.
mm,
Stealing it would be goofy. Leaving it scattered all over a 3-acre library would
yeah.
be their cup of tea. Hey,
Yeah,
I
this
don't know
is
how
the
to do this. It's not blackjack, so it's
yeah,
not
this is the
important.
dice set flat print that snaps together.
Huh.
Dice that snaps together.
Yep. It snaps
I'm
together.
sorry. Give me a
Like
minute.
that.
I gotta process this.
Yeah.
That's such a foreign concept to me. I mean, seriously, you go to the comic shop and you can get real dice that exist in 3 dimensions without any snapping together.
Mhm. This
Uh,
would be a good one if they allowed for commercial use. It'd be a good one to sell at cons, though.
Mm-hmm.
You could customize it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I may have to mess around with that at some point.
Yeah.
Storm.
I got the links saved. I'm gonna have to transfer them over to the other computer, but
Really?
well, for some reason the software on the Mac, and I'm guessing it's just the difference between Mac OS and Windows. Um, there's certain things that I can't do in the Orca software here that I can do on the computer behind me.
Huh.
So
Well,
I've just gotten to the point of I'll just load it onto that computer, tell it to print because they both of them communicate wirelessly to the printer. Um, so I'll just load it on that one, run any fixes I need to on there, and tell it to print. That way, I know it should print without issues.
should.
Yeah, keyword. Um,
That's the operative word.
but I'm gonna, and then I just use the Mac to do the stream with. Yes, I need to send that over to you still. I'm waiting to hear back if they're good to use with the artillery printer. Some printers are finicky about the type of filament you use. And while they do say they're rated for high-speed printing, I'd still like to know a little more before I take the risk of gumming up the nozzle and having to figure out how to tear the machine apart to replace the nozzle.
I'm sorry, but you lost me at artillery printer. I'm going, well, are we talking about trebuchets or
Trying to find it.
cannon
There it is.
or what?
Well,
But
I actually
artillery
printed.
has a lot of meanings.
Well, artillery is the brand, but I did print this off for Nick. It's a little Nerf gun.
Oh, he'll love it. He will absolutely love it.
He found the print for it, sent it over to me, and that was actually printed off during one of the live streams the other day. And actually, I might be able to get that to fit now. I think about it.
You've got the files.
Yep, I got those little
You
files
got
that I
the
can run through
needle
there.
files, is what I
Yep.
do believe you've got, is a set of, which I find invaluable. Yes.
You just need
Those
to make
things
sure.
can do so much. You can even sharpen the scallop blades of a knife that has the 10th generation Ginsu. I can saw through plywood serrations in.
Mm-hmm.
But if they get dull, you need a half circle needle file to sharpen each individual bit of that blade before it goes to just the straight European sharpened edge.
Mm-hmm. There it
I
is.
love those combo knives, but sometimes they are really aggravating. And it's not because I'm using those knives to saw through entire sheets of plywood, but they would make quick work of entire sheets of plywood. As one knife fanatic to another thesis, some of these things are just beyond awesome. And you can buy them as knives designed to cut floor tiles when you're laying out a kitchen floor or something. And they're really inexpensive. But you're talking about a hawkbill that would pretty much terrify Tony Stark if somebody came at him with it in full armor. It's not going to disassemble the armor, but it's certainly going to make a serious slash in it. Somebody makes a sword like that, I'm going, y'all been learning stuff from the obsidian blades of Central American natives, haven't you? That shit was razor sharp. I've got a couple of pieces of obsidian that I have been trying to preserve as historical interest rather than, ooh, I can cut shit with this. I may be a redneck, but I'm not that redneck. Pretty pieces of engineering are objects of respect. Doesn't matter if it is stone hewn or metallurgy or something put together as like a fishing rod or something. Half of it being graphene and the other half being wrapped in damn near bulletproof material, but it's still so light. You can attach fishing rod, fishing reel to the rod, and it doesn't weigh much more than just the rod by itself. And I've seen several people just run line through the different eyes of a fishing rod and sit there and treat it as if it were a bamboo fishing pole of whatever length and just not have a reel attached whatsoever. You just, oh, I'm holding on to this. I got a bite. Yank, tug, yank, tug. Reel the
Yank
fish
tug,
in.
yank tug. That sounds like a Saturday night for me.
Well, not going there. Yeah, Nick, the serrated blades are fun to sharpen, but they are very, very painstaking to do. You've got to get each scallop in the serrations individually. So it takes a while and it's kind of finicky, but it's not only rewarding to have a a pocket knife that can cut through basically sheet steel, briefly, but it's something that you can use for not only casual woodwork, but occasional cooking. I mean, you're not going to find a better way to disassemble a turkey or a duck or a chicken than
I
a
got it to go together.
serrated blade knife.
Now, before you send that to him, you have to make sure that it has the ugliest eye-bleeding gradient paint job you can find.
This is well within his wheelhouse.
Uh-huh.
See, now I wish you'd given me that idea before I finally got that damn pin to go in. Because that pin ain't coming back out at this point. It's in there.
Well, you can still paint the outside. It's all right.
Spray. This part's gray, this part's darker gray, this part's darker gray, this part's darker gray, this part's black.
No.
Here you go,
Light
Nick.
gray,
Enjoy the
light
fucking
gray,
this.
light gray, slightly darker gray, getting just about to black, and then you just go red.
Red. Yes. Because you're already in the danger zone by then.
But
We love you, Nick.
Yes, we absolutely do love you, Nick.
And Nick, if I did do that, I would print a second one all in white to ship along with it.
Well, basically, I've got to say, Nick makes it both fun to pick on him.
Mhm.
Besides, this is proof that I don't just do only gradients.
Kind of, more than a little bit cruel, so you don't really want to do it. Pick on him. He's got that presence, that gravitas, the I am a person that has this knowledge and am willing to impart that to any willing listener, but at the same time don't have a corn cob up my ass, so if you want to poke fun at me, I can take it. Now, Nick, if I'm totally wrong and you do have a corn cob up your ass, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I'd rather not have that information. Thank you.
I respect you highly, dude. You have more knowledge at your fingertips and within your search engine grasp that my respect for you has already been earned. Well earned. And it will not ever turn into ridicule, even though I have a hard time keeping a straight face and not making jokes about the simplest of things, which we have found out already.
Need something to snack on. Oh.
I am so not touching that line, Joe.
Oh, the wife's upstairs.
I know, but still, It's a short walk, but I don't want to see it. It's none of my business.
The headphones won't reach up there. Oh no, they will actually, because the bedroom's just over there. Anyway, carry on. It's holiday season. I stopped at Walgreens today to grab some latex gloves to be able to paint with. And of course, they already have out the Queen Anne dark chocolate cordial cherries.
Oh, Jesus. I hate you. I love those. I absolutely love this. I can eat an entire box in like 15 minutes.
You can have my share because I can't stand those things. I'll take a chocolate orange over that crap any day of the week.
See, I like chocolate oranges too, but these have been a fan favorite since I was a kid.
Yes.
Bonus points if they're chilled.
I did not discover the dark chocolate version until I was much later in my own personal perversions, but oh my God. No, yeah, Nick, we are exactly going from lust to gluttony. But dark chocolate was introduced. I have no weaknesses. This is my kryptonite. Anytime you need to defeat Captain Dan, you just hand him dark chocolate. Doesn't matter whether it is American or British. It'll be. I'll let you live for now. Let me eat this. And by the time I'm through, I've forgotten you existed anyway.
So if I ever actually get a chance to meet you in person, I should bring along the bottle of dark chocolate liqueur that I can get at my local alcohol shop place.
I'm not sure how to react to that thesis. I think
that'd be good in coffee.
I think either an inappropriate reaction or a coma will be involved. I may actually have to change my underwear if you show me this stuff.
Well, I know now for next year when I come to Hallowcon, I need to not only bring a extra bottle of the Indiana whiskey, but also a thing of dark chocolate.
That Indiana whiskey is absolutely amazing. I mean, it is seriously every bit as good as the Irish whiskey that I just pay through the nose for. And it's nowhere near as expensive, I venture, yes. But don't go near Lindsay with the dark chocolate because she will probably have a negative reaction. And I'm not just saying that because I want to hog all the dark chocolate to myself, but no, she's very fond of British milk chocolate, like Cadbury's or stuff like that. But when it comes to dark chocolate, she just goes, sorry, someone let a skunk into the chocolate factory, and this is the result. You eat it.
So the Just Whiskey bourbon whiskey that I brought down, the 375 milliliter is $30. The 750 milliliter is $45. Dan's doing the math in his head.
No, it ain't math. I'm trying to read a calendar. How long until I can get this light again? I'll send you $200. Just bring as much as you possibly can. It'll be PayPal, but you know, it's still $200 is $200. That's a good night anywhere with any price of a companion. You may negotiate, or it better be.
And apparently their recipe is 80% corn, 10% wheat, and 10% barley.
Yep, that's Kentucky stuff right there. Although it's harder to grow barley in Kentucky because almost every field is on the underside of a hill.
Yeah.
Sort of like West Virginia. You drive around and you go, oh, all these picturesque curves. And you go, yeah, but people live in houses underneath the road because it's so freaking steep here. Those are almost D&D villages all of their own, or random castle encounters, or whatever. Somebody has a very, very steep hillside, and where your adventure takes place is on the underside of that hill. It's West Virginia, or Kentucky, or some of Virginia, not all of it. Of course, if it was Tennessee, it'd be underwater because TVA would have already drowned it by now. Sorry, people need electricity. We got to build a lake. Fuck off.
And yes, 45 does buy a lot of Mountain Dew. And the revenue's got to catch me first going down the backside of the mountain.
There are roads they don't know. I do, but they don't. Wait a minute, Nick, what's this? No, I'm not going to get revenues after Joe's ride, and puts a new spin on the stories of Kentucky goblins. Believe me, Nick, the only goblins in Kentucky would be very much like Uncle Carl. They just follow Dawn and Aunt Donna around, appreciating God's artwork. That's about it. They wouldn't care about the rest of us. We're not important in the cosmic scheme of. Oh my God! Would you look at that? Sir Mix-a-Lot has a lot to say about this particular situation. I suggest that if you really care, you look that up and please have an open mind. If not an open wallet, don't buy anything on those pages. But um,
Oh, the town code enforcement officer used to think he had a great ass because every time he left somebody's house, they said, "There goes that ass again."
yeah, I'm surprised our county one has not been shot several times over the last 20 years. However long he's held the office, God knows I've been tempted, but not worth the paperwork. Really, not worth the paperwork. Um, just
Well, it's a pain having to call 811 first so that they can mark out the line so you know where to dig. And then sometimes they take days to actually get out there.
in this county, they just drive around and going, you know, you're going to have to disassemble your fire pit because you're not allowed to burn garbage, paper, plastic, whatever, in this county. And I'm going, do you want to come and pay to take it to the landfill? Who's just going to do with it as they will? He's going, not my problem. I'm just here to tell you I'll write you out a ticket if you don't disassemble that magnificent barbecue grill that you got that you're just happening to burn paper in. Okay. We will comply. Go away and I will let you live. That is exactly my reaction to the code enforcement officer. Go away and I will let you live. I'm an old man. Life in prison does not hold any fears for me. I've been married 3 times. Believe me, life in prison would be a vacation. Except for Lindsay. I would miss her because she's really nice. She really takes care of me. She keeps me alive, especially when I'm not particularly motivated to take care of myself, and she reminds me that I need to because people actually do care about me, and some of them depend on me for Aphelion stuff and whatever, but I'm just going, honey, it's a struggle sometimes. It's a real struggle sometimes. I don't know why I keep trying. Nothing works. Nothing works at all. I keep working my butt off and it's all just seems like wasted motion. I have stuff to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that get done, but there are times when it feels like it's all just a waste of time. And she's there, and she reminds me that she depends on me,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and other people depend on me too.
Mm-hmm.
And not just for selfish reasons, but because I can impart knowledge that I have gained over the sorry, almost said centuries. I shouldn't say that. I'm slipping into old Dan mode here. Um,
Not
I'm
supposed
Take
to.
Dan,
take a page out of Nick's book. Never admit that you're a cryptid on live feed. Uh,
I'm not a cryptid. I'm an old god of Appalachia. Uh, even if I can't pronounce it correctly. Um, no, next Hallowcon. I'm going to have to bring the coat, the boots, and I don't have the hat anymore. I'll have to buy another hat, but it's one of those things I think I can find if I can ever get the right damn size. Because as egotistical as I am, I still wear a size small hat.
see, and I don't think I'm overly egotistical. I have a hard time finding a hat to fit my big ass dome. Uh,
Go to Cracker Barrel. They've got nothing but hats in your size. Uh, Pretty hats that I wish I had one. But no, they don't have anything in my size for a pinhead. Um,
see, I always have to buy the ones that they say are like one size fits all. Basically, they have like the stretchy band.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And even some of those don't fit me well unless I get a larger size. But like the actual like baseball caps, the ones with the little
Mm,
snaps in the back, unless I've just recently gotten my hair buzzed off by like a number one trimmer, those things don't fit me. Like with how thick my hair is right now, and it's not even that thick, I'd have to put it on the last snap, and at that point, that's just useless because all it does is unsnap.
well, right now my sailor's cap, which is too small, is a 54, which is a 6 3/4 hat size. It should be about 7 1/4 to fit correctly. Um, I don't know what that is in centimeters because I don't know how 54 relates to 6 3/4, but um, it's an online thing. I can buy another sailor's cap and get one a little bit larger and a little bit larger and a little bit larger until I get the right freaking size. My original one that actually fits had been worn so often the size marker had vanished into the headband. And Lindsay has made it clear, and I've made provisions for this, that that particular hat is going with me to the grave rather than any of my children getting it and suddenly being possessed by the undead spirit of Captain Dan. And I'm just looking at my kids going, y'all would have fun with that. Oh, wait a minute. You have morals. Sorry. Um, I don't have morals. I have a very, very strict rule of manners. They overlap, but they're not the same thing. It's like I'm totally free to do whatever I like, but the things that I like include doing no harm to anyone else. Although frequent smartass remarks are allowed. Joe Dog, beware.
Oh. Need to
Oh,
see. Oh, that's not until February. Okay.
endangered plants are expensive for ground cover. Yes, indeed. I'm not alone, and I'm planting trees others will sit under. Um, Unfortunately, I think I am planting trees that stupid people will probably use for firewood. But right now, I have an oxygen factory. I'm planting things that produce air for all of us to breathe and clean out all the garbage that our species puts into the atmosphere. That does sound kind of political, but I didn't mean it that way. I'm just going, I hate people. They don't care about anything except their own pleasures, except for some few that actually care about what's going on biologically, ecologically, historically, and, well, you giggle, but historically is a very, very valid point.
Mm-hmm.
We make history all the time. It's not necessarily good history, but it is history that needs to be recorded nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of our mistakes, everything that we've done right or wrong, does need to be part of a record that people can learn from later on. It's easier with the internet, but making plans to record such a thing as if the internet didn't exist,
Mm-hmm.
that's a worthwhile pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
When we're only 10 minutes away from being a 2-hour show,
Yep.
um,
2 hours went by quick.
It usually
Well,
does.
you know, it's us. We have fun talking. We really, I mean, this could be a 25-hour show. And aside from nodding off and showing people my bald spot, we'd all keep going to our individual limits. And speaking of individual limits, I really hate the fact that the one Joe Dog uses is in better focus than the one that he gave me. That don't seem fair, but
See, now I feel like I need to print off a 3D version of the sock that
There you
Don
go.
has.
3D print the sock.
wait a minute. Dawn's sock is a 3D print.
True, but
She
I'm
can,
too lazy
she
to
can
dye
wear
my
it.
own.
I mean, seriously. You are free to do whatever you wish, my friend, but
I was
piss
painted
off,
as a gradient.
piss off Dawn at your own risk. Don't involve me. Even Trey's gonna go up. You're on your own, kid. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
over here and feed the cats and the rats and whatever.
I can't say anything bad about Dawn ever. She makes my shows go so much smoother.
Mm-hmm.
I really can't think of anything bad to say about Dawn. I mean, seriously.
And she promotes NDCD a hell of a lot better than I do. And I'm the one that runs the damn thing.
Everything better than any of us do. That's
Well, there's that too, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think of her as this tiny teenage girl that I briefly met in high school and then graduated and left high school. And she grew up to be Queen of the May. And I'm going, yeah, she's really fantastic, but she feels like someone I should be protective of, like one of my daughters. I'm going, wait a minute, she won't like that. I should be able to make jokes and pick on her and, just treat her like everybody else in our particular peer group.
no. There's nothing that says you can't do both. You can be protective and also see someone as a peer and joke along with them. I do it all the time.
Yeah, and
That's called being the older. That's called being the older sibling. I'm allowed to pick on my little sister. God help you if you do.
exactly.
Because even the old gods will not hear your screams.
Hey, that's one thing I'm very thankful for. My younger sister and my younger brother do not need anyone to protect them. God help you if you cross them. My little sister will pick you up and rip you in half and throw the bits over her shoulder. My little brother would just make you never have existed. he's in one of those Masonic lodges, so he's got connections. Um, your records will cease to exist. You got to renew your driver's license. You go, who the fuck are you? This is a fake document.
You don't exist.
Well, when my little sister got married, my wife and I drove down to Kentucky for the wedding, and I pulled the groom aside after the ceremony, and he goes, "Let me guess, I'm about to get the big brother talk, aren't I?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure you've already heard talk from my father and all my uncles. I won't give you the big brother talk other than this. Pray they get you before I do."
That's a serious threat right there. Um,
They'll at least leave something for your family to bury.
You have connections in concrete and building materials and
Mhm.
various other ways to dispose of, unwanted
Well,
Well, he also knew I was the most tech savvy of the whole group. And he goes, "There's probably not a place in the world I could hide." I said, "No, there isn't. I have friends in multiple countries."
I just look at people and go, Mom has rose bushes that really need to be fertilized. And
Yes,
they
Nick, I
go,
know I got the same pre-wedding discussion
what?
from you. Yeah, see, Nick didn't need to give me the pre-wedding discussion with my wife because well, as good as a swordsman as Nick is, Cliff still scares the hell out of me a lot more.
Wait a minute. Trelena should scare the hell out of you a lot more.
Oh, she does, which is why I won't cross her. I can't sleep with one eye open. And her promise of, she will never kill me in my sleep, I will be armed, awake, and facing her, doesn't give me any comfort either.
No.
But at least you would see it coming. That would be better. That'd be preferable. You die on the battlefield. There you go.
I don't care if I go to Valhalla or not.
Really?
I
I don't have siege weapons.
I'd rather see it coming and be like, okay, this is going to hurt, but here we go.
Hey,
Nope.
I am not going to piss off Trey. I'm not going to piss off Aunt Donna. I do not have access to my little brother's, no, my cousin's 9 nuclear missiles. I have no defense whatsoever except I'm a fucking redneck. I can go hide in the woods. That ain't gonna do me a damn bit of good.
Not really, no.
I might live for 50 extra years, but I can be found.
We're down to the final minute.
Yep.
Yes, I know. I hate it, but thank you very, very much for being here, guys. We're all three on NDCD. If you want to know anything about what we do, look it up, ndcd.org, because it's too much fun to be a .com.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Richie, for copywriting that. And I will say that there's not a ceremony to this. And yes, I do have the bedtime story written to play as in credits, but I'm getting tired of that shit. I need to rewrite it and do something different. So we will just say, here's an advert from a magazine, and we will pretty much see you Thursday night, Saturday night, and if you're not
Have you
stupid,
have
we'll
you guys
see you on
decided
Friday night.
if we're doing a show next Thursday?
That's up to Joe Dog. I don't have the faintest idea. I may be off with my mom for Thanksgiving, so I have no idea
Okay.
what year I will get back home. Um, it's up to mom, and believe me, I don't have that much time left with my mom, so I'm glad to spend every bit of it I can with her, even though she says it's not enough. But Mom, I can't move in and become dad and do everything he used to do. That's weird. I'm not going to do that. Um, considering how similar we are. All the girls in the world beware. Yeah, Dad's gone. I'm still here.
Mm.
And good night, everybody. We're
Good
going
Good
to
night,
call it
folks.
quits right about here. And thank you very much for being one of our audience, whether it was live or in the replay. I started to say afterlife, but Nick might get offended by that. So we'll just say, good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Hello, I'm Dan Hollifield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphelion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?